Hello everyone, I'm back at it again to talk about more movies. What else is new? I really just had to sit down and process my thoughts about these two films. One of them being the best of the year, along with the other not only being the worst of the year, but a major contender as the worst of the decade, all within the span of 2 weeks. So that being said, my knees are weak, my arms are spaghetti, and I'm itching to express how I'm feeling. So I'm very excited today to talk about The Substance and Megalopolis. I'm going to go in the order I saw them in, so starting off with The Substance. This film was directed by Coralie Farjat, who hasn't made a whole lot of material, but has very much caught my attention and made me interested in seeing her works. Right off the gate, this film is phenomenal. The Substance is a genre-bending masterpiece about a washed-up actress that is getting older. Through this period, as she's fading out of popularity, a series of mysterious events happen and she finds herself with a substance that can change her life in a good or bad way. Now, if you're on the internet, then you've probably heard about this film. This film has been making the rounds as the craziest thing you'll ever see, and that's pretty accurate. I fucking love this movie, and the more I think about it, the better it gets in my brain. Not only does this film do a good job being engaging and entertaining, there was so much to chew on, and so much substance within the film that I was absolutely hooked from beginning to end. This film does a phenomenal job telling its themes and story in a visual way. There is so much information that is explained visually rather than someone just giving you a rundown of how everything works. The film understood just how much to tell the audience for the ideas in the film to work properly. All the spoiler-free stuff out of the way first, the acting and technicals are all pretty good. The film is very off the walls and the camera work matches that completely. There are some very unflattering shots throughout that are very purposeful and purposefully humorous. One being a very close-up shot of a character as he's taking a piss. One of the things that I love about this movie is how they work with the differing and clashing tones. The creatives do a fantastic job making these clashing tones work and be effective. Now, this film is without a doubt a body horror film, but it's also very funny and intense at the same time. It all just comes down to the edit and overall direction to make that work, and they did a solid job. The editing is over the top and all over the place in the best way possible. The actors also knew exactly what the film needed. This film just knows what it needed to be for it to successfully work, and it does just that. The body horror elements not only work in a shocking and disgusting way, but also in a thematic way as well. For me to move forward, I'm going to have to talk a little bit about spoilers, so you've been warned. There is so much to pick apart with this film that it's kind of incredible. This film is about a few things, but body dysmorphia comes mostly to my mind. Now, this has science fiction elements with how the whole substance works, but as I said earlier, having most of the science stuff being told visually rather than a scientist explaining everything is a pretty smart and effective way of storytelling. With delicate and precise directing and writing, the film achieves a very believable setting that the characters can be in. Like, I totally can see this happening if this was real. Through the science stuff, the main character is allowed to make a clone of herself that is in a way the perfect version of herself. And through that, we get psychological ideas and themes. The main character very much dislikes herself, and along with her having to follow societal norms that are put on her, she prefers the clone version of herself. The further the film goes along, the more the version of herself hates one another. It's very interesting how these ideas are being shown, and how the film concludes is extremely satisfying. Essentially, one of the biggest messages is you're never gonna find a perfect version of yourself. I really love that this film is from a female perspective. Women more than men struggle with these ideas all the time. Having a female perspective can really show the misogyny and how unachievable standards that women are put through. It's all very deep and meaningful and substantive, all while being a fun and entertaining horror ride. There's just so much to praise about this film, I could go on and on. This is not my favorite film of the year, that's still Challengers. As of only seeing the film once, I give this a strong 9 out of 10, really close to a 10. It's most likely my second favorite film of 2024, with Dune 2 being the third one. Yeah, strong 9 out of 10, that feels pretty right. Loved it. The other film I'm going to be talking about is Megalopolis, directed by the master director Francis Ford Coppola, if you even want to consider this a film. Just to get into this monstrosity, the film is essentially plotless and it meanders for 2.5 hours. What I gathered from this film is about a rich family that's trying to build this utopia, Megalopolis. This man considers himself to be an artist and his family dislikes him, I think, and they are trying to stop him, and he falls in love with someone, and there's a baby at one point, and this film fucking sucks, guys. The best way to describe this is absolutely pretentious. The film sits on this pedestal screaming about how society is gonna fall, and then just dicks around for the rest of the runtime with some of the most headache-inducing visuals ever. To get into the technicalities, it's all terrible. There are noticeable ADR problems where the lips of the characters don't even match what they're saying. Like they could be saying different words altogether, it's that bad. The acting is truly terrible.
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes. Go back to the club.
The special effects and CGI looks like something from Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but with no charm whatsoever. Now I really went to see this because I wanted to laugh and make fun of it, but it's just so boring. It's a boring experience all the way through. The film was just nonsense. There wasn't a plot or a string of narrative to follow. It just follows characters as they say the worst, most pretentious lines of dialogue ever. I really have no clue what the film was trying to go for. I feel like it was trying to be a satire along with like a family drama element, but nothing leads to anything and I'm just left with nothing but wasted time. Early on within the film, I knew that the film was going to do and say nothing really. This is a nothing film. The film really stands as one of the worst films of the decade. The confidence that this film has while being a train wreck is really something to notice. There's nothing to think about with this film. There's just, I guess, themes and ideas, but no structure to engage the audience with. There's just a bunch of unfinished elements and ideas that's just fisted into a mesh that is just this film. The fact that this has been in production for years is really sad also. What's really interesting about this though is that I don't really passionately hate this film. Like I've talked about some other films on my channel that I've passionately hated, like Don't Look Up for example. This I just kind of feel sad for. I'm just disappointed. That being said, I think I prefer Don't Look Up over this film, and that says a lot if you know how I feel about that film. This is the easiest 1 out of 10 film that I've ever seen that is this scale. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this film, except that it's nothing. 1 out of 10. Alright, that's all I gotta say. It's crazy how polar opposites these two films are. One being so engaging with so much to say, and the other being so boring with nothing to say. It's like yin and yang. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely check out The Substance, and proceed with caution if you want to check out Megalopolis. But as of now, I am going back into my hiding. I'm out. Bye now.